So if something is said that shouldn't be or something, I can always just edit it out. Um, I can challenge a friend.
I was just gonna create one. I usually
Okay.
don't do challenge a friend because like I could just create one in the lobby.
Yeah, because I don't think pie chess is so popular that like you have issue with people nabbing games.
Exactly. During the day, then I would do challenge a friend, but this
Hmm.
is like nighttime. Um, how's 10 plus 10?
10 plus 10 is fine. I prefer 30, but I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't want it to take forever. I just want to
That's
play
fair.
like a normal game. All right. I created it. I don't know if you were ready yet, or I'll just leave it open
What?
then.
Oh, hold on.
Now if I leave it on long, okay, there we go.
Ah, yes. Haha.
It's an interesting opening.
Yeah, I do like it. I probably should play the lines I've actually studied more instead of going for the one that I just, hey, this is a cool one.
I haven't played this in so long.
Hmm.
Oh, we have a kibitzer,
A what?
an observer.
Oh, someone's watching us play? Okay. Um, hmm.
was not expecting that.
Yeah, it wasn't the right move. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's even worse. Oh, that's much worse. Yeah, I think it's respectful to resign here.
Good game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go back to move 10 to 11,
Mm-hmm.
that's like where you defend the cannon with your chariot. That's kind of like the classic tactics that I was like talking about, where I'm just like forcing you to kind of be out of position. Now your chariot's in a bad spot, and then that's where
Yeah,
I kind
it
of use
needed.
it.
It did need to stay back here a bit. I
Yeah, like
think.
being back is good because now it's in a spot where it's literally stuck on a single file and it can't do much. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of able to move my chariot into a much better file that was able to kind of threaten all your back pieces now.
Yeah, right up until that point, it said the position was equal, and then it gave you a pretty significant advantage. So I was supposed to just move my cannon back a couple steps, and then you would either infiltrate or create a riverbank chariot after that.
Oh, did you run the analysis already?
Yeah, I have the analysis board open. And as long as on that move, instead of bringing my chariot forward, I drop my cannon back 2 steps, I'm just doing fine. It's equal. Fascinating.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So that was actually the blunder that lost me the game from the looks of it. Oh, wait. No, I was very winning earlier than that.
Yeah,
Apparent.
you by move 9 you had a well, not very. You had a 1.6 advantage, which is
That's fair.
actually even. It was still near even.
Yeah, it as it sits there and runs for a while on move 9, it says I have 2.2 after the cannon capture, and then it goes back down to 1.8 after a little bit more depth. Yeah, it went to 18, and it says I'm up 2. And then your rook move was apparently a blunder?
Yeah, I see like a little mountain peak on my graph earlier.
So
Um,
apparently you were just supposed to uh, take my hanging soldier after my cannon came forward, rather than moving your rook there.
Wait, you mean with my cannon? Take.
Yeah, move 9 instead of moving your rook to the 8th file for you. Apparently you were just supposed to capture with the other cannon. It doesn't like that move either, though. At least at first, and then it kind of settles into it. It's it's only half a pawn better, and then at full depth it says they're about the same actually. Nope, it apparently something happens on depth 17th. It's back to 2.0. Interesting.
I was looking more of like move 12 where my blunder was.
Mm.
Um, they said I should move the other chariot. Interest. To block off your cannon.
Yeah, that's actually what I thought you were going to do.
I
Oh,
was thinking
wow.
about
It
that.
wants me. Oh, it wants me to intervene with my elephant to boot you out.
Which move?
On move 13, when your rook infiltrates.
Currently it's showing move your cannon up 1.
On move 12? Oh, it
I'm on.
became move 13 after I did it. So move 12, when your rook infiltrated that same turn, it wants me to intervene with the elephant. And then your rook is forced to back up to the square it came from, and I get a turn for almost free.
That's why my move was not considered good because you could just block it off the elephant. Makes sense. And I wouldn't. And then also the can that elephant move protects the horse as well.
Yes.
So it's a 2 for 1. interesting. Okay. Cool.
That was a interesting game.
Yeah.
I didn't.
One more?
Yeah, sure.
I just went back and hit rematch.
Oh, let me figure out how to accept. It's not giving me a pop-up on that rematch, but I already went back to the home screen, so.
Oh, okay. I'll just create one where I'm red now.
Mm-hmm. So tempting. Can't see a reason not to. This is fun. I mean, the first part. Now I'm just showing tomato current Xiang after we play some Xiangqi.
Okay, I'll be back then. Let me know when you're done with it.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting. I'm pretty sure my cannon over idea, while spicy, was a mistake. Because I wasn't considering this horse move.
Yeah, usually a lone cannon in enemy territory is considered a bad idea, just because it's not very strong and it's just more of a liability.
Guess I have to do something like this.
put a little too much effort into saving that cannon. I think the best move to do there would have been to retreat it sideways.
I was thinking about that, but ooh. Oh, is that check? It is.
Yeah, I was just figuring how I was gonna cash in on my free chariot.
Yeah. So I did need to go this way. Damn it. My actual debate wasn't even on this chariot dying. I just missed the fact that you had the discovered cannon attack. My debate was whether or not I wanted to remove the move that was a major part of my attack plan, which is stacking my chariots together.
Yeah, I kind of figured you were trying to do something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, I do think it is respectful to resign here.
I don't know if it was that bad of a position.
I was already down a cannon before that.
Wait, did I get a free cannon? I don't know.
When I had to sack one cannon to save the other, because my intention was to use the other one for the attack. Yeah, if we go back to analysis, my plan here, oh, it actually does want me to take this soldier. What the fuck? My plan was this, but apparently that's way too much. What's wrong with this? The line I wanted to do instead was worse. Down 21.3. Alright, show me. So I back up.
It looks like
Obviously
you're
trying this.
Move 7.
I just don't have the attacking material I need. And your rook has me cut off from actually doing things. Gotcha.
Which move?
I was still looking at the end attack if I didn't blunder, or quote, blunder the chariot. It does want me to give away the chariot, comparably. Then you do
Give it
this. When I captured your soldier on move 13, I wanted to do something else, but apparently if I do something else, it gets much worse.
So it said it's basically saying you did the best move situation.
Yep. Anyways, move 7?
Move 7 was the
Oh, the cannon move, yeah. I discussed at the time that was probably a mistake. I'm still losing a little bit. So it wanted me to do this elephant move and then you sidestep the soldier? Interesting. And then it's just about equal?
Oh yeah, so putting your chariot on the same file as my cannon on move um, 6 is not a good idea because you're literally walking into the line of fire,
Yeah.
right? So all I have to do is push my soldier in um, and threatening both at the same time. And also doesn't really cover anything. Like you want it to cover an open file. That's where the chariots are strong. So if you had moved it, yeah, they wanted you to move it to your 4th file.
Mm.
Because I mean, say I take your pawn. What does that do? It doesn't really do anything actually.
Yeah. I'm gonna
So you
use the
just
bathroom.
sacrifice.
I'll be back.
What'd you say?
I'm using the bathroom. I'll be back.
Okay.
So everything I've done wrong in these two games were because I created an unnecessary weakness.
Yeah.
And I would often stack my chariots into the wrong squares. Which is interesting.
I generally don't see a lot of stacking chariots in Xiangqi. That usually happens more towards the end.
Yeah,
I wonder if you got that habit from TV, having multiple chariots, because then you can do a stacking attack. But putting
I
them, stacking them just kind of creates a weakness. Like it's
with the cannons is what I was meaning, where I put them on the same rank or file, probably more often than I should. Which
yeah.
has felt weird every time I've done it. And I've done it 3 times in the last 2 games. Anyways,
The general rule of thumb is you want to command open files. So like moving your chariot to file 3 goes against that rule. And all my moves were just simply moving my chariots into open ranks and files just to open everything up. And I was able to flank your cannon from behind and do things like that just because I had open movement.
And now here's the part where I get to use the chess army and you tell me how it feels. One thing I will say, you aren't easily punished with current Xiang. There, at least as long as you pay enough attention.
Did I do this right?
Yeah, you did. I'm just being dumb.
No, I don't think I want that.
Oh. Well, that's not how that was supposed to go for me.
Oops.
Whoops, indeed.
In general, I don't want my king being X-rated by your queen.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So as you do this, can you just summarize the rules for me? I'm too lazy to bring up the document.
Oh, yeah. It'll also help anyone just loosely paying attention. who might be here. So loading is 4 turns. Loading only doesn't let you capture pieces outside of your territory. Your pieces still defend each other pretty well. So something like this, and then both your cannons are defending each other, even on move 1. I'm sure you're familiar with how the lion works.
Can you remind me?
It moves and captures on the second square of the queen line. It is a leaper, and it is its battlefield movement only lets it move back to the territory.
And the same goes for the elephant.
Yeah, the elephant is lame, but it goes to here, and then it must move back, of course.
Reinforcements.
So your reinforcements, you're allowed to reinforce now or later. It's up to you, but they can only be summoned on these 5 squares. And if you do it now, it would be before I move, and then after that, you have to spend your turn on it.
Like at the start of the game, you're saying?
Yes, this is the reinforcement phase, which gives you the opportunity to like put this here and here and just leave the horse in hand, which is the most common way to do things. This creates a very high aggression type opening, not there, where you put the cannon in the center in order to play down the center files more readily. But basically, you could put these down now or hold them in hand for later if you want to have a more dynamic control. Your pawns do have a promotion when they reach my back rank to any of these 3 pieces.
Your back rank?
Yeah, my back rank. They're able to promote to either a cannon, a rook, or a horse. That rule so far tends not to matter, turns out.
I can only put 2 out, or all?
You could put all 3 if you wanted to. The downside is you usually end up having to go through one of these sides to get there, so you're very locked in. So it's less flexible, but it costs fewer turns. And like players like Lily just leave everything in hand.
I mean, it saves a move, so I don't see why not. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, so you aren't summoning the horse?
There's no reason why I would put it in the center. That's
Fair enough. And that makes it my turn.
it would be blocked by the lions, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't need it right now.
So you would have to move either the king or a lion to get the horse into it.
I forget how much I hated these pawn forks.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Fair. The good news is you already have this one covered, and This one's doing kind of okay because if I do this, you just push here. Even this one, you're able to get covered in just one move. Hi, Aaron. Getting ready to do things?
Hmm? Oh, I'm actually just gonna go to sleep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if I'm this tired, I might as well just go to sleep.
Liam argues that I should do stuff like this, but that costs more turns, and I'm not too sure about it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either.
But this line is pretty reasonable, it turns out, and this is how that pawn went in the game that he tested it. It went on a full journey. It's kind of funny. The king facing rule is one-sided for this army, so I'm not allowed to get into your line, and if you do it, it's check.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Are you allowed to hit me in the ramparts?
No. No piece is allowed to enter the ramparts for any reason.
So my chariot there is invincible?
Until it leaves. If you never let the chariot leave the ramparts and just go back and forth, yeah, it can never be captured. But in order for it to attack, it does have to leave.
I never set my counter to 0, so just pretend it's 0 right now.
Oh, on these? 1, 2, 3, 4 checks with chart.
Wait, my pawns can't attack sideways?
Not until you move them forward twice. They don't have a battlefield movement. They just get that ability once they've, quote, crossed the river by moving forward twice.
I feel so limited.
Hmm. I don't think that does anything. Other than put you in check and make you move, which could be good in its own right. Make the palace trip over itself, block off your rook line.
Sorry, I missed what you said.
I'm thinking about just moving my queen forward one step. But, like, I suppose you could just block with the lion, and then I'm just forced to move back. And while it forces you to commit your lion and prevents you from getting the rook over, it just makes me do, like, this and then this, or something.
Yeah.
Hold on. That kind of just works, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Not yet, at least. It could soon. Interesting. Oops. There we go. Interesting. It doesn't work like it did earlier. Things go differently this time. Oh, sorry.
I need to grab something.
Hmm. Anyways, back to the line that's actually going on. Oh boy, I trapped my own queen. Would you look at that? Well, yeah, I did.
Oops.
She's screwed.
You probably have to go back.
Mm-hmm. Just one move though. It's not too bad, but still, the fact that it gets completely locked down by that is wild. I wasn't even thinking that she could get trapped. Do not mind the sound of cursing in the distance. He's okay. Do 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 do. I suppose that means it works the same way here, right? Almost. Yeah. It is identical. Almost. In that case, at least I'm able to go back here. I would have one square. So my queen needs to back the fuck up. Here, I suppose. Ah. Quick tempo check. How do you feel about the army so far?
Um, I like its defensive capabilities, but I feel like my attack is just it's very limited.
I also
And
feel like I can't attack you, so we're kind of just at this back and forth with these odd, sharp moments. And I think I'm the one that who's being slowly pushed forward right now.
yeah, that's how it feels every time I play this matchup. I actually don't really. That's why I usually don't enjoy doing this, because it
Mm-hmm.
always feels like it's like a wall hitting a wall.
Mm.
Like you have your pound line, which severely outnumbers mine, and it's hard to penetrate. And then I just have a ton of pieces, which is hard for you to kind of
Navigate.
penetrate.
Interesting. Oh boy.
out of the room. Come on. Are you still busy?
I mean,
Okay,
it's not
busy.
too bad. It's,
Busy. Sit.
just don't say wild stuff.
Busy. Sit.
It's not like it's an
I
interview.
have
We're just
Tourette's
playing.
syndrome.
I know.
Are you doing the
Look at
interview
it.
still?
Roland,
No,
look at him.
we're just
Roland,
playing.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
Fuck yeah.
Look at him.
My earrings in.
Look at him.
Oh.
Alright, Busy, sit. Busy, sit.
New and improved upgrade.
girl. Alright, Liam, go to that side of the room. Go to that side of the room. Which side did you go on?
I muted the chaos for a bit.
What chaos?
See this?
Oh.
This is best girl. Right here.
Lyra says that you're an asshole. It's alright, Lyra. You'll be my best girl. It's alright. You can come home with me. They'll never even know.
Oh, so you have to deal with her swollen titties.
You act like mine are.
Yep.
Here, my little titty.
Because for the VOD channel and for this stuff, it's not too bad. You still there?
No.
Not you. The person who was on call with me. Oh, they're still here.
I'm still here.
Busy.
Fun fact, most people don't leave when they laugh.
Busy,
or
who
when
do
they
you
hear
love
funny
more?
stuff.
Who do you love more? Why is it me? Bye, Liam. Look at how much she loves you. God damn it, Missy. Missy.
I told you. She's a good dog. She comes to call.
Why did y'all come up here?
Get her, Missy.
What?
Why did y'all come up here specifically?
Aaron's asleep downstairs.
Oh, okay.
And we were trying to be quiet, which we obviously did very well.
Yeah.
Didn't Aaron go
I
to
also-
sleep in their room?
I'm
like,
also
not that
not-
long ago?
Downstairs.
I'm also waiting to do the computer thing because I don't want people to hear me scream cunt at the top of my lungs angrily.
No, he just wants them to hear them. Just regular say cut.
It's different.
No, it's really
It is different.
It's really not.
It's very different.
Missy. Missy, are you a good girl? Are you a Missy? Are you a Missy?
When I get angry, I just string curses together.
So do I.
And it's not very good commentary. So.
Mm.
And this homework makes me angry, so. Let's go. Come on. Come on, Missy. Come on, string room. Give me hugs. Give me hugs, string room. Good girl.
Oh. I was trying to figure out why he was calling her string worm.
Larry, you're stuck in like the stupidest fucking area right there. Oh, you're up.
What?
What's your impression of this board state?
somewhat closed, I guess.
Hmm.
Although I'm actively exerting pressure on my left side.
That's true. I think I muted before you heard my sneeze. Did it work?
What?
I sneezed really hard, but I think I muted right before you heard it.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear anything.
Perfect. My face hurts. It's funny. One of the consequences that happens a lot in TB is both players end up feeling like they have to play against the opponent's weaknesses more than to their own strengths in order to attack. So a lot of the attacks that might work on me will feel more chess-like, other than the fact that you can use cannons for some of it, but like the rook stack ideas and the general concepts of counting for like if a horse gets involved. And then for me attacking you, I have to deal with the strengths and weaknesses of a Xiangqi defense, plus the lions to try to pick up the slack.
That's actually true.
But I don't have cannons to really pin down your guards and elephants like I would want to. How would Xiangqi itself feel with these 5?
Can you say that again?
How would Xiangqi itself feel with the ramparts and a couple of lions? Much less dynamic in the beginning, I would say.
Much less dynamic in the beginning and probably also the end because you can't really. It's much harder to mate
Yeah,
because of all this stuff in a way.
yeah.
what?
Wait, I'm trying to figure out why you did that.
No. I thought something else was there. I
Oh,
thought I had this.
we can make sure that, yeah, you didn't move it all the way. Then I took there, you took here. Okay. So that goes there. Jeez. Hmm. That's interesting. That's a fair bit stronger than I expected it to be.
Just let me know.
I'm still starting here.
I'll have to your ass cunt. Crunchyroll.com/activated.
And all of a sudden, we are in a tactical slugfest. I was thinking you were going to do something over here like this in order to prepare for this thing going on over here.
Yeah, I don't really have anywhere to run, anyways.
Well, doing this had the odd benefit of after this you could go here. What? Oh, just a misclick. Yep.
Oh, no. Never mind.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to clear the arrows. Apparently it keeps the queen selected when you... Huh. When you deleted the line? Hmm. Ooh. Oh. Well, that's a move. Oh. Okay. Hey, wait a sec. Oh, fuck me.
Are you taking that back or something?
No, I'm just realizing that this is not doing good for me. I thought I was okay, and I am not.
I was expecting moving your rook over.
Yeah, it's a pretty reasonable expectation here. I made a mistake a bit back. It was forced. Oh boy.
believe that's mate.
Oh, it is. Nice. GG.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's much you could have done to get out of that. Maybe moving your knight to block it ahead of time or something. But
What I needed to do was way back here when you brought the cannon into this file. I needed to already have my my rook over here sooner than that. There were a few lines that I looked at down this path. Another idea would have been just the knight capture here instead of the queen capture, but I'm pretty sure that's just mate in one, so it doesn't work. It's also possible that this bishop move was just incorrect, but it felt decent. But I'm pretty sure I needed it, and then here I should have done this maybe, with the rook over on move 40. It's tough.
sorry, I'm like not sure what you're talking.
I've messed with a lot of other lines if you look through their history and analysis.
It's not synchronized. I don't know where you're.
You can switch to slave mode on follow if you want to see where I'm at.
How do I do that?
So in follow mode, it's right above setup. Below force westernized.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So now you can see what I'm doing. So I can click and go, yeah, I was looking at this line with this instead. These types of ideas. Here when you did this, thought it might have been, oh, this was the one where I trapped my queen. And then here you did this. I was thinking you might do that and just back the knight up. But obviously, since this led to the mating attack, your move was better. Pretty sure. And then this was the spot that I thought, for the purposes of not dying, I probably should have done.
You should have done that one.
Yeah, on move 40. Because if we go much further than that, we're already in the thick of the problem, and then you're just, you know, executing. And then here, it was also reasonable for me to capture with knight, maybe, except for the fact that it's already mate. So this is what I think I probably should have done back here. This also was a really decent idea, but unfortunately this still has some issues. It's just, you know, not too terrible because my queen still has this covered. It sacks a whole piece though, so I'm very hesitant to think that this would have been the line to save me.
I don't know. I would just go there. And I would force you to.
Go this way.
Yeah, and then start chasing.
Yeah. But then there's this check that just happens, maybe.
Yeah, now I'm kind of stuck actually.
I did sack a whole bishop to survive this way, but I think it does kind of work. Because it's still, you know, there's heavy pieces around, and as long as my queen's alive, I have a chance to kill you. So
Yeah.
maybe this would have been the way.
Maybe I was a little too fast on attacking. I probably would have maybe should have developed a little bit slower. So let your king get away.
Overall, with the with this matchup, how did you think it felt from the Shang side. Of course, attacking chess is always difficult. They have way more material than you're used to.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of similar to before. It was still felt difficult to attack. I think there were a couple blunders where you kind of let me really focus on my efforts on my left side.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I think it probably could have gone either way. Um, I'm not quite sure if it's balanced, but
Is
it
this
felt somewhat balanced.
why? Yeah, I could just do this, right? It's not actually mate. What's for? Oh no, it is. It's because of the
That's not
cannon.
canon.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, so I saw that the first time through. I do remember that. Man.
It's an interesting position that I wouldn't normally see in a Xiangqi game. I was like, this is mate.
Mm-hmm. Also, if the queen ever gets pinned to the king via cannon, usually the Xiangqi side has already won.
Yeah.
Once
That's
that
what
happened,
we-
I was already screwed. Because my queen doesn't really have a way out at that point, and then what was my strongest piece is now just a glorified rook at best.
After that point, I was just on the hunt, either
Yep.
going for the queen or going for the kill.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I feel like I had a little too much firepower from the ramparts. Like that was really strong, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was too strong. Maybe that's why I won, or
Uh,
but it defended me also just barely enough too.
when we're allowed to do takebacks, what ends up happening, I've probably iterated this before, but usually, like, just imagine if all of these pieces died and I didn't blunder the bishop trade, and we ended up somewhere like here, where it was like a king and two pawns against you with this, and then these ends up trading off together. This is the usual count for endgame. Like, you'll have some combination of 4 to 6 of these guys alive, and maybe we'll have a cannon and knight on the board as well, and it'll just be king versus king, and I can't approach you, you can't approach me, nobody wins. And then there's when the player starts by putting the cannon here, they end up gaining a lot of center control from the central soldier push that just helps combat the white center and really pins things down on the center files once the other cannons join in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that line with the cannon center file is very sharp. We haven't had any draws on that line yet, but
Yeah, I don't know. I was like,
it's really close.
it kind of locks you in when you do that. You just move your king away, and then that cannon. It doesn't exert as much pressure.
You would think
Although I
so.
guess,
What
I
it
don't know. I mean,
does,
I'm not sure if my positioning was much better.
what it does is you give up one of your 2 columns of pure defense that you end up getting from the ramparts in favor of getting a lot of center control, which makes both sides' attacks more potent when you place the cannon centralized rather than on a side.
I guess. I mean, like I said, I feel like it's balanced, but I
Feels weird.
I don't. I'm not sure if it's not a matter of even being weird. It's just like I don't really enjoy this matchup. Like every time I play it, I don't enjoy it.
Mm.
And even I'll be honest, even with my rules, I still don't enjoy it
Mm-hmm.
that much. And I think I kind of see where the problem is now though. The problem is there's too many pieces, like too many for you to take care of, too many pawns for me to like fight through.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of like both sides have too many pieces, and
Yeah.
I like the big because it helps having just played two games of Xiangqi, so like I can
Um.
kind of like compare my feelings, and there's no openness to it. Like there's a lot of openness to the games we played. Like that's the best way I could explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's never any of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Everyone's just
you're up
exerting
against
everything.
right, and you're up against a very solid defense provided by the Ramparts here. Um,
Yeah.
no matter how we do it, like I think even with my rules, you're up against the riverbank that's hard to penetrate, and then I'm up against a pawn line that can immediately threaten my pawns, like with the
There,
diagonal attacks. It's like
there is one immediate
quality
idea
style.
I have. What if we brought the dragon back? Either the yeah, so like the horse rook, and made that the only reinforcement.
I mean, I just don't like adding pieces in general. Like it's
I know, but like the idea would be you add a more potent attacker, and you also weaken the defense a bit. And I think it would go a good ways towards maintaining some of your ability to be attacked and to counterattack, as well as keeping the piece count a little lower for the players tripping over each other, you know?
yeah. I mean, it was just an idea that I had in my head, but like I mean, I'm the fact that there's so many pieces to take into account. I wonder if there's a way you could balance it instead of by adding pieces by subtracting. Like,
Oh,
what if
100%. You could pick any game to be the balance point, and it be somewhat reasonable, with the exception of shogi. If you chose shogi as a balance point, you'd probably have to give every army drops. Um,
well, right? So we choose medieval as the balance point, but like every everything all the balance is always about adding
yeah,
pieces. But like you could
you're
still
still on the
balance
follow mode,
around.
right?
Hmm?
You're still on the follow
Yeah,
mode,
I'm
right?
still on follow.
Okay.
So like, I'm just saying like just I'm not even saying like this is the idea, but like if I could instead of adding pieces of reinforcements, if I can just take away one of your pawns or something, I definitely should like your minors and majors are the core of the army, so those cannot be removed. Um, but if I could just remove a pawn or two, then I mean that's in a sense that's also beneficial to you because it could open up queen lines, bishop lines, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But having a part where you're not able to immediately where you have like an exposure from the start, which is actually how Shanxi is, right? Like there are all these exposures from the very beginning. So like let's
Yeah,
say like
so
oh I
like,
choose
say you could make my army look more like this. It might be a bit more reasonable, right? And then like,
yeah actually I feel like that might be stronger for you because now you're suddenly developed all over the place.
yeah,
Uh, your king
just
safety goes down. It's actually
nope.
so the thing is like when you do it like this, you're really matching my setup, which is not ideal either. Like you
Mm-hmm.
kind of want a one size fits all. So like I was just thinking like I get to just remove one of your pawns, and I'm not sure if it's my choice or your choice. Obviously, if it's your choice, you'd do one that opens up your bishop and queen, and then I'm actually even a worse position.
Yeah,
Or am I? I don't know.
and the thing is like, this is very much something that would not be equivalent. So I think our strongest pawn piece right now. Hmm.
I mean, you're changing the whole structure of medieval, which
Oh
is
yeah, I'm just messing around with an idea I had based on your statements. Like here, I'm almost thinking that like the queen would go on one of these two squares. But like I'm imagining if we were trying to balance around this is the point rather than the other way by nerfing other armies. Kind of like what happened with Chushogi. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And then like you also get a queen on the ramparts or something like that. You know,
Yeah,
Chushogi
I'm just
style.
saying like if everything, so imagine like think about it this way. Imagine like a number line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And imagine medieval at 0.
Yeah.
Um, you, you could always I guess you always talk about adding by addition. Like you could always add to something to make it. Hmm. I'm just trying to like connect 3 armies together. Like if everything is balanced against medieval, like if Xiang had a rule where they can remove a pawn, that would be balanced against medieval. So say they play against, I don't know, Twin Sons or something.
They would probably
Twins.
remove an ember, maybe?
How does Twin Sons, like when you do Twin Sons versus medieval, like is there any reinforcement?
No.
Right. So and I guess a bunch of armies, like the Horde, Empire, Spartans, a lot of them are not balanced by reinforcements. It's only Shogi and Xiangqi that actually
And Xiangqi.
have
Morning Com
addition.
has reinforcements too.
Yeah, I just
So
prefer not
it's
to think about that right now.
fair.
So theoretically, you can apply a subtraction rule, and it would affect all the other armies, but they have different pawns. Like the Twin Suns has fewer pawns, right?
It does. It has 7. 7 Berlinas. And of course, those Berlinas have some further exertion than normal as long as you're willing to weaken your king. Generally, the Twin Suns game plan has a much lower king safety than like the chess game plan.
I don't know. Well, it's just an idea we're trying. Like, see how that works. Just balancing by removal rather than addition, because I feel like the addition is what makes the matchup not fun.
Mm-hmm. One thing I am concerned about, like if you did this, is like just cannon here after some loading, so that type of thing might have to be a deal, and it would mess with this. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I think you're fine because you could just like you can sorry, you could just move that out, and castle.
Yeah.
And you have plenty of time to do that.
Another idea would be something like this, which you don't have as much ease of exploiting this, but it is notable that the king safety is a little bit less. Probably this one is my strongest pawn offensively, so if you removed that, you would make it harder for me to control these 2 squares and make your pushes stronger.
Mm-hmm. But then I open your bishop right away.
Yeah, you do. But like most of these are going to open up one of my diagonals.
But at least like with that gap right there, I suddenly like as a Xiangqi player, I see openings, which makes me feel like Xiangqi again. Right? Like, oh, I want to move this to like hit this file. Like I have an open file.
Yeah. The thing with this type of rule is we would have to, of course, we'd have to make it not apply in the mirror, so you're not just going doot doot or something. And we'd have to make it, it might not be a good idea to let it affect morning calm. Like that might be a massive throw off.
I mean, in general, it just seems to be the Asian ones that
Mm-hmm.
are at a disadvantage. So as long as you have like a general rule, hey, these 3 battalions are considered to be underdog battalions, and therefore underdog battalions get to do this thing, whether it's reinforcement
Yeah.
or removal.
The-
in order to balance.
The weird thing about Xiangqi is, like, principles wise, it's much more similar to chess than either shogi or Xiangqi. Even though the structure looks similar, it's just not. Because it has a real pawn structure and it tries to keep everything covered, and
Yeah.
you know.
I agree. But anyways, I'm actually really curious, and this is something I'm gonna maybe play test a little bit, see how
Mhm.
that see how it works.
The biggest concern with that type of subtraction rule is just matchup stuff. Against the chess army, it's a pretty good idea. I'm just not sure how well it would translate or be implemented against everyone else.
I
You
think
know?
the main issue would be an army that has few pawns.
So the biggest one would be the Korean one.
No,
I-
so the rule would be it only applies to you have 3 underdog battalions,
Yeah.
right? Korean, Chinese, Japanese. The rule would only apply, like you only use this balancing rule with an underdog versus a non-underdog.
Okay.
That would be how I explain it. So,
Oh, so
Xiangqi
you want
versus Shogi, Xiangqi versus Changgi. None of those had this. Those would not invoke
shogi, that
balancing rule.
one, it isn't a good idea to let that happen against with shogi versus the others, because it opens up unless the underdog got to choose, maybe, because it opens up lines of attack so easily.
Open. What are you talking about?
So here, let me just shogi versus chess real quick, with this actually being set up right. So if the chess army gets to choose, you have some pretty immediate problems.
Right.
And
Although
that-
the question is,
And that's a thing for any matchup, because that also comes up with Palace, I think. Yeah.
what if Shogi gets to can you go back? What if Shogi gets to choose?
If shogi gets to choose, then like they can remove this one and not have to worry about it as much.
And then that's not too bad, right? Because if they get to choose, they don't get to.
Yeah, but what we're essentially saying is the other, that would be, yeah, 5? No, 6. The other 6 non-Asian, the other 6 non-underdog battalions don't get to. We're alleging that their pawn class pieces are pretty similar in strength.
Right. And I know
Which-
for the new horde, their pawns are actually weaker. I believe Spartans also have the Berlinas are just weaker than pawns.
Yeah.
But I think it's so material wise, yes, there's gonna be some variance,
Wait.
but I think the bigger picture is having open lines that it creates. Yeah, just having open lines, at least for Shang. So I haven't played Shoguns versus Medieval, but theoretically you could say like, hey, Shang's balancing mechanic is removal, while if
Oddly?
reinforcements works really well for Shoguns, then you could say, hey, our balancing mechanic is still reinforcements. And that way it'll stay consistent. And that way if you play Shang versus Shoguns, they're both underdogs and therefore no balancing mechanic takes place and you just have
Hey, I was wrong, and for Spartan, the piece value against Spartan, the pawn drops value to 0.86, and the hoplite is worth 1 pawn in that matchup. And the pawn itself reduces in value if you lock the rook to 5. and if you try to lock the pawn to 1, like the engine does by default, you end up with really difficult numbers to wrap your head around, like the queen being worth 11.46 because the pawn gets weaker in that matchup.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah, I have it up. You want me to just share screen so you can see what I'm talking about?
I was just gonna look at the numbers I had. I'm pretty sure that Berlina was weaker half-life.
No, 1.22 pawns for the hoplite in Spartan.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then if you open mine up, you can see the math for scaling either the hoplite to 1 or the rook to 5. And rook to 5 seems to be the one that is the most identical, or feels the closest to normal chess values, which is why I advocate that rook should be set to 5 when comparing things for chess players.
Regardless, I think 1.22 versus 1, or...
It's pretty close.
It's still pretty close.
0.22 is within even like the margin for error that we were considering. Like, that's less than the difference between white and black going first in chess in strength.
Right.
All right,
Exactly.
let me... I don't think it's going to be the most extreme case, but that knowing which is the most extreme case would take more testing than we can do right now.
Knowing the most extreme case would basically save time, right? Because you could just go straight to the most extreme case
And then
that
and then
doesn't work.
test it, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something I want to try out in the future. See what happens.
I look forward to seeing your results. Please share them with me.
But at the very least, like, what is its effect on feel and fun?
Well, if we go
I don't know,
back
that
to
was a
this.
rhetorical question. Like that's the question to be answered.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I would theorize... do the other matchups have... First things first, do the other matchups have pieces that are reasonable to remove without breaking stuff? I think so.
It's always the pawn. Every battalion has a pawn class, right?
Yes, that didn't used to be the case, but we have found it necessary for it to be the case, so Twin Suns and Frost Beast both definitely do, compared to when they didn't before. Yeah, that's reasonable. I'm just going through them one by one right now to see what makes sense. What you can remove without breaking stuff. Spartan has actually quite a few, because all of their pieces are pretty short range. And then I guess Empire might be the spookiest, because you always open up their ability to move sooner, no matter what you remove.
It might actually hurt the Xiang side in a sense.
Yeah. I think it would just be good for them because...
You do break the pawn structure from the start, like that's the other thing, like you create a gap.
Yeah, you do.
Which is actually another, that's one of the things that's hard for me, is dealing with the pawn structure. So that is one plus you get, even if you do open up development for the other side.
Yeah, and then Modern Orda. Oh gosh. Yeah, it's a good thing we have loading turns against Modern Orda. Just against Orda in general. The Keshik would die so fast.
The scouts are weak, for sure. Although with their battlefield movement, I'm not sure. I have to play it. I
Yeah.
have to play the new one.
Yeah.
I think with the battlefield movement, they're kind of also similar to the pawn.
It could be the case because you haven't had NNUE applied to Con chess yet, that the engine will change its mind about the piece value of the scouts after
that's
you do
true.
some testing.
I should ask Belzadar to run an NUE.
Yeah, on Spartan and Conchess, but
I thought someone ran one for Spartans.
I did
could've
too, but for some reason, Orda's NNUE is just much better comparatively. Maybe it just Spartan just hasn't received enough computation power.
Maybe because they've done like serial, I don't know if you call it upgrades, but like they just run more and then they update the NNUE and keep doing that over time. Because I see Belzadar posting about like new NNUE for this or whatever,
Yeah.
but I really don't understand how that stuff works.
I'm just checking out some of the Keshig attack lines right now. Oddly, the Keshig infiltration points aren't too bad because the horses and elephants hold them pretty well early on. At least until you push this guy, and then you're having a bad time. If you push
So-
the wrong soldier against Horde, you lose. Ooh, that's a potential problem.
So
Huh.
ideally, like, we would remove like have like no ramparts or reinforcements, just removal. So I don't.
Yeah, if you did removal all the way down, though, you would have to chop, like, the queen at least.
What do you mean have to chop the queen?
So, with the chess army, right, if we just look at what it has, just real quick. Oh gosh, let me just fix that. All right. It has roughly equivalent, let's just do a material slugfest count, because while it isn't, direct 1-to-1, if we just count the horses, cannons, and rooks, that's only directly worth the enemy queen and rooks, right? Because a horse and a cannon is a rook, and 2 rooks is a queen, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're trying to match up bishops and knights versus guards, elephants, and we haven't even looked at pawns yet. So you would have to, if you wanted to do it this way, you would have to figure out what you're doing about which pieces in the back line to drop. Because if we do a 1-to-1 materially, it's almost exactly those pieces I just circled for the chess army. Plus like 1 pawn for give and take, like 1 guard. And that's a bit much. Plus this king is stronger than this king, so. Which is why I was saying, like, probably best bet if we were using like Xiangqi as a balance army, just delete the queen to start with. And then figure out what to do next.
I just feel opposed to that because I don't like removing a whole
Yeah,
piece.
you would be taking things away. But the other direction of adding things ends up here. You know?
What if it was 2 pawn?
2 pawn
That would-
removals, we might be able to drop the horse. or the cannon in hand.
The other thing is like you can reduce the loading time as well. Basically, if it's lower, I would be able to take out a rook with a cannon, at least relatively guaranteed.
No. With the loading count all the way down, as long as chess is white, they do this turn 1. And then you don't have a rook. And then when chess is black, then you get the rook and the pin on these 2. So we end up balanced, but only in the sense that whichever side goes second loses.
Wait, can you just run that through? Sorry.
Okay, so
I'm tired.
yeah. So I'm gonna go all the way back to like here real quick. So if there is no loading or very little loading,
I was thinking just like dropping loading by 1 or 2.
Yeah, but you end up in situations where they're able to kill something as long as the Xiangqi army is able to go first. But when the Xiangqi army is going second, even with loading 3, medieval still has enough time to save their shit. So we will end up in balance, but only insofar as we'll end up on a knife's edge on whoever's going second of the 2 armies loses, once you reduce loading by 1.
Wait, you're saying it's balanced, but the second side loses?
It's balanced because the second side loses. So it ends up 50-50 because we're able to swap who's allowed to go first. There's no draws. It's just whoever goes second loses. At least with proper play. So either stationary cannons and loading 2, or mobile cannons and loading 3 both do that. And it gets worse the lower you drop the loading rules. If it's all the way at 0, then you see it the most directly with very obvious stuff happening, where when chess is white, they go here, and they don't have a bishop and a knight pinned to their king and queen, and they still have the rook alive.
Hey,
When they're white.
Do you mind if we just play a couple moves just to finish
Yeah,
it out?
yeah.
So, hold on. We're gonna
Before
say,
can I show you the other side first?
other side? Oh yeah, sure.
And then this way, this is turn 1. And then these 2 are pinned to these.
I think you have to have at least 1 turn of loading.
Yeah. But we'll go here. Because it gets harder and harder to prove, and we had to do more and more extensive testing until we found that 4 was okay. So the more we go, oh, is 2 okay? Is 3 okay? The only reason 3 isn't okay is because we let them do this type of thing, right?
Right. Well, let me see. Let's say
Actually, we should test it on the other side, and I'll just promote to
the
main.
harder side, the worst side.
Yeah, because if you're just looking at since we are starting from the point of loading being 4, it might be more useful for you to see it the other way, where we start at 4 and go down to 3 with Xiangqi as the white pieces.
Where's the white piece set?
So let me just I just fucked up. Hold on. I'm going to promote this to main, but I'm also going to mark main line real quick with this. Cool. Cool.
Alright, so let's pretend I'm Xiang, and I get to knock out. I get a first strike on one of your pieces. Let's say I get rid of. Oops, I gotta turn back to master.
I'm on main line, but yeah, it should work here. I'll go to slave if you really want to just show something to me. Oh, I promoted. The fuck's going on? Oh,
I see it. Move number 13, right?
yeah.
Alright, so probably the best one to do would be something like that. Because if I do this one, I open up your queen and bishop, and that's no bueno.
I would argue that maybe even this one, but yeah.
Oh, because I open up your bishop.
Yeah. This is the most centralized pawn that doesn't open up one of my diagonal pieces.
Oh, and also it also prevents that move.
Yeah.
I agree. Alright. Yeah, I'm very tired now, so I'm not thinking very hard.
Oh.
Okay, so right now I'm threatening this, and let's
Mhm.
just pretend. Let's just say we have. Let's be generous and say we have 3 loading.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so. Hmm.
3 loading. I think. Oh, that's right. I have to go mainline. You probably also want to change from master to mainline as well. That just
Oh.
immediately deals with the rook issue. Two, 3. And then we're here.
Wait, I didn't even move yet.
Oh, my bad. I heard click, thought my move.
Yeah,
Numbers trigger the audio.
You should assign a different sound to like
Numbering other changes?
numbering. Yeah.
Maybe. But like this doesn't have to have really good UI. It's just a tool we're utilizing for the moment. Mm-hmm. And I am in time, barely, to hop out of here. So this isn't even the scary set. But one moment, there's something I want to check. Let me get to this part.
Yeah, if there's something I could have done better, let me know.
There's something I could have done worse. The good news is actually you removing this might just give me some props. So maybe it shouldn't be this one, maybe this one, in order to keep my king as isolated as possible still.
I think removing one of the edge opens up your rooks. That's terrible, and your pawn line is still completely intact.
Yeah, but my point here, let's do it without removing a pawn real quick. I just
I
want
don't
to
know
get
why I would ever want to remove that one.
Yeah, but the idea would be that you're trying to keep my rook or my king penned in and not give me an easy out for the check that's coming.
I don't see that.
Here, let me... Because this check is coming sooner, right? So on this line with loading set to 3, if we do basically the same thing without removing this pawn, I do this, you make some other move. I think you did this last time, this type of idea. You're currently on 2. I have barely enough time to do this, right? And that you're already on 1 because you've done 2 moves. And then you do something pretty normal like this, per se. And my only out, now that we're at 0, is this. This is the line that forced us to move to 4. I remember. And then I'm actually, my king safety is too low and it ends up very sharp and problematic. These types of ideas, at least.
I don't think it's that bad for you. To
It's
be
not
honest.
terrible, at least at first glance. But after a fuck ton of testing that I don't remember all of back in December 2021, with the old Xiang, is when we discovered the loading needed to stay 4. Of course, old Xiang had a little bit more centerboard influence, and was able to capitalize on this more, so it might need to be revisited. But after we tested all of the lines down and like really dug into it, there were placement mistakes that the chest side could make as black. I think it was exactly this placement because it leads here, and then like the other option, right, on this path was this. Let me promote this to main as well. In order to intervene this way with either the bishop or knight.
So, if if this is an actual problem, then removal actually kind of helps in a sense, right? Because I have to remove one of your pawns, and if I remove one of your edge pawns, that same exact setup, but your rook
Mm-hmm.
is free, is actually a very winning position for you, even if your king was forced. So I would have to remove one of. If I removed any more of the middle pawns, you have more outs.
I mean, it's
So
only a half open file compared to like a normal filed rook.
that's still big. I mean, you could have your rook out there, and you could basically you
Be
could play
doing,
Shang you could play Xiangqi with me, right? You could be like, I'm gonna go, like
yeah,
do all kinds of stuff.
yeah.
That's really big against Xiangqi.
In fact, that, just thinking about it, that might that type of idea.
Which is actually not a technically not bad. I mean, on your side to be able to do that, but for me playing Shang, I don't want that to happen for you to run
Yeah,
around with
yeah.
a rook.
Anyways, good discussion. This went way longer than I thought it would. We've been
Yeah.
messing with Shang-Chi and stuff for 2.5 hours. Good night.
Yep. Sounds good. Good night.